G'day guys, who is the real us? Who is the real Carlton Football Club or Carlton Football Team 2021? Who do we really want to aspire to? Are we kidding ourselves or are we fair dinkum? It's really difficult to G myself up. I can only speak on my behalf when 12th is playing 15th. Okay, with three games remaining in the season, and I can understand there's plenty at play for us. There's a possibility, very faint possibility of playing finals football this year, but when you're playing the Gold Coast Suns, okay, who are sitting 15th, at this time of year, it's not a hell of a lot of fun, to be perfectly honest. I'm going to be honest with that. I've never been more certain in my life, never been more certain in my life on anything that will win this game of football this weekend at Marvel Stadium. We will win. We will get the 4 points and we will move on and keep our finals hopes alive. However, that doesn't excite me. It doesn't. I don't know why. It just doesn't excite me just to get the 4 points. Okay. So I want to know who the real us is. I want to know whether last week was an aberration or not. Because I am the believer the Gold Coast Suns are that bad at this time of year. They're that bad. And the signs are that they're gone. And even our worst, so even if we put up a performance like we did against North Melbourne, for example, if we came out and played like we did against North Melbourne in the first quarter, we'd still beat the Gold Coast Suns. It might be a little bit ugly, but I reckon we'd still beat them. But I don't reckon anyone would be happy with that. So I want to know, as I said, I want to know whether last week was an aberration or not. Because if we play with that same application and that same effort that we showed against St Kilda, there is no reason why we can't win this game by a significant margin. So I want to set some benchmarks and targets for us. This is what I want, and I would love to hear what you would like as well. So if you're just happy with the 4 points, then tell me. Okay, I respect that. But frankly, right here, right now, I want more than that against the Gold Coast Suns. I want more than that. Okay? I want to know whether we are mentally tough or not. Okay, to be ruthless in this game. Not only to get the 4 points, but to get a real percentage boost because we know how important that is. And the fact that we are playing a lowly team who are on the nose right here, right now, that we're able to be ruthless. We're able to do it because we have not seen really a smashing. We have not been able to smash a team for such a long time. So, we know the Suns. I mean, I'm probably sounding really disrespectful here, but I really don't care. Okay, I really don't care. I'm sorry. Okay, I often talk about when we have a really, we've had a bad patch. I say, we're all angry and we say we're no longer irrelevant. We're no longer a relevant football team, blah, blah, blah. But that's just anger. We're relevant. Okay, we're relevant. We're always relevant because people talk about us all the time. In fact, they talk about us constantly. That makes us relevant. But the Suns, they're not relevant, okay? They're just a basket case. A basket case. And do I feel sorry for them? No. I actually feel sorry for the players who actually get drafted there, but I don't actually feel sorry for them. I really don't. I just can't. I can't. So, you look at them under Stuart Dew, and I don't even know whether Stuart Dew can coach. I really don't. But you look at their finishes to years under Stuart Dew since he took over in 2018. And if we can't do a number on them this weekend, okay, God help us. We'll never do a number on any team. They lost their last 5 games in his debut season, Stuart Dew. Lost their last 5 games of the year by an average margin of 62 points. That's 10 goals. In 2019, they replicated that exactly. They lost their last 5 by an average margin of 62 points. Last year in a shortened season, they lost their last 3 shortened games by an average margin of 40. So far this year, they're on track in the last 5 games of the year to hit that 62-point margin. They're currently in the last 2 that they've lost by an average margin of 73 points, including 98 last week against Melbourne at Marvel, where we're playing them. So I've got some benchmarks here to keep me interested in this game. Obviously, the 4 points is crucial, but we know if we just fall over the line against the Gold Coast Suns, we know there might be a little bit of resistance, but let's be honest. Anything under 5 goals for me is going to be a fail. We know it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be frustrating. Anything between 30 to 40 points for me will be a bare pass. Anything between 50 and 60 will be a pass, like a good pass. Beyond 60, okay, that's a win as far as I'm concerned. So I'm setting the benchmark of a 10-goal win. We haven't won by 60 points or more since 2014 under Mick Malthouse. There you go. Under Mick Malthouse was the last time we won by 60 points or more. How are we going to do that? So here's some more team benchmarks and targets. We're going to win the inside 50 count. We're going to flip it from last week. Okay, we lost 44 to 51 last week. Okay, I want that flipped. I want a massive inside 50 count, 55 plus, possibly 60. And I want to restrict them. I want to be lousy. I want our midfielders to work their arse off and our half forwards, particularly, to apply manic pressure, to work hard both ways, to restrict them to below 45. Okay, and I want 15 tackles inside 50. Not necessarily around the ground, because I'm assuming that we're going to win a lot more of the ball. Okay, we're going to outwork them at the contest, at the source, okay, to win the contested possessions and win the clearances. So the tackle count mightn't be high around the ground, but it's certainly going to be high inside our forward 50. I don't care whether it's Harry, I don't care whether it's Charlie or Gov if he plays, or Levi if he plays. Okay, I want 15 tackles inside 50. Okay, it needs to happen. I want us to kick 125 points plus. All right, our best this year is 123 against the Bombers in round 7. Okay, we kicked 19 goals, 9 at the MCG. We're going to be under the roof at Marvel, no excuses, okay? And I want to keep the Dockers to under 60 points. All right, let's, as they used to say, okay, back in the 1970s and 80s, let's kick the sweep, the absolute sweep. Okay, meaning let's kick the highest score, okay, out of any team this round. All right, the tackling pressure I mentioned, okay, is a non-negotiable. Contested possessions and clearances, can we win those? Understand, okay, could be impacted if TDK doesn't play. But let's be honest, they don't really, other than Zach Smith, they don't have a great ruck division. But I want to win the uncontested possessions this week by at least plus 30, at least plus 30. And I'll be looking specifically at those uncontested possessions. North smashed us by plus 60 2 weeks ago. And they outworked us, they overlap run, okay? And this will truly tell me, okay, whether we're working hard, whether we are working hard, where we're willing, okay, to do that overlap run, which I think sometimes a lot of the times we haven't, okay? We've been very stagnant, all right? And we need to run and run and run, okay, our butt off for the four quarters in this game. And if we don't get to a point where we're 55 points up or 48 points up or 49 points up and then we think the job is done, okay, we continue to go. We continue to go. We put our foot on the throat of the Gold Coast Suns, okay, and we don't let that foot off, okay, until the final siren. All right, so they're the team benchmarks, okay? All right, so flip the 50 inside 50 count, kick 125 points plus, and win the contested possessions, okay, by plus 30. These are my individual, and I'd love to hear your team benchmarks and also your individual benchmarks. These are not predictions. I don't predict this to happen. This is what I want to happen. okay, in order for me to be relatively happy in this game. I want Harry to kick 6+. He's currently on 57, leading the Coleman medal, and I'm very confident that he'll win the Coleman medal. But I want him to finish the season off really well, okay? We know it's going to be probably hard, okay, next weekend at the Adelaide Oval against the Port Adelaide defence, but he's monstered just about every key defender in the game this year. He's going to get Sam Collins, who's a dour defender. He's a dour defender, he's an honest defender. And he's not too bad. But Carey's more than capable of kicking 6 goals in this game, particularly if we're demanding a big inside 50 count. Again, we're working really hard to provide him with enough opportunities. Okay, he's currently, as I said, on 57. He kicked 6. He's up to 63. All right. It's been by far, okay, our best contributor in front of the big stick since Andrew Walker in 2011 when he kicked 50. But what I'd like to see him push towards 70 before the end of the year, and then he's right in the same ballpark as recent Coleman medalists, and really good full forwards as well. So we're talking Jeremy Cameron back in 2019, he kicked 67. Jack Rewalt kicked 65 in 2018, and Buddy kicked 69 in 2017. Let's forget about Tom Hawkins last year in a shortened season kicking 40. All right, so for me, that's really impressive for a young Harry McKay. So let's get him. And I know he's our number one main target up there. Let's get him the 6+ this weekend. I want to see Adam Saad. Okay, I think he's had a reasonable season, first season at the Blues. And I think he's probably going to... Look, I think he'll get better. But I don't necessarily think we probably use him as well as we should. And maybe that's a work in progress. Maybe that is. But last week he was down on metres gained, and that's his number one attribute for us, and that's why he was brought to the football club. His run and carry, and also his penetrating kick. Last week against the Saints, he had 300 metres gained. Okay, he had 6 running bounces. He's the number one running bounce player in the competition, but he only ranks number 2 this year with metres gained. He's dropped considerably last year, where he was top 10. Okay, for the Bombers. So I don't know whether we are using him right. When he bounces the ball with us, it appears like he goes sideways a lot and gets himself sort of into trouble. All right, so I want to boost. He's averaging 448 metres gained for the season, ranks 22 in the competition, which is not bad, but he was down last week. I want him to reach 600 against his old side, the Gold Coast Suns, this weekend. 600. I want the ball in his hands. In fact, I wouldn't even mind him getting a little bit higher up the ground. I know first and foremost, you've got to defend, okay? But I wouldn't mind us using him a lot more through the corridor and giving them that opportunity to run in a straight line, okay? Because I don't know whether we've fully seen that, only in really small patches. So not only do I want 600 metres gained this weekend, I'll be taking notice of this from Adam Saad, I also want to see him kick a goal as well. He's only kicked 2 for the season, and he's more than capable on this ground to drift forward and kick a long bomb from outside forward 50. Third player, Zach Fisher. I want to know what he is. I really want to know what he is. Okay, I know he's lively. I know he's got a nice sidestep. I know he can be a little bit clever. We know he's one-sided. We know he's been injured and he hasn't been able to get his body right and get continuity. We know he's played 7 games for the year and he's been back for 3 in this second block. Since he's been back, he's been okay. He's found a bit of the ball playing that sort of high half forward, pinch hit in the middle, few centre bounces, but predominantly forward of centre. 19, 13, 18 are his possessions. That's satisfactory, but he's kicked bloody 1 goal in those 3 games. In fact, he's only kicked the 3 goals and 10 scoring shots, 3 goals, 7 for the year. And we were actually more or less promised at the start of the year that he was going to be a damaging small forward. All right, and hopefully one of the more damaging small forwards in the competition. I know he hasn't had continuity, but he looks anything but that at the moment, a damaging small forward. All right, so if he spends the majority of time forward, which we suggest he will, because he's got a suspect tank, I want to see multiple goals. I want to see more than one. In fact, look, you know, he can get his 19, 13, 18 possessions and he can have a couple of goal assists, but I want to see some goals. I want to see some scoreboard pressure from Zach Fisher. I want to see a little bit more because we know he's not outstanding defensively. He's not a big body. Okay, he has a crack, but he's not going to, I suppose, apply a hell of a lot of tackling pressure. Okay, because he just doesn't have the body to do that. All right, so he needs to hit the scoreboard. So I'm talking multiple goals. So let's not get too carried away here, but it needs to be 2 goals this weekend for Zach Fisher. So I'm writing that down. Plus 2 goals for Zach Fisher. Lockheed O'Brien needs to go 1 better than what he did last week. Everyone's saying he was outstanding. He was good last week. Good. He's a top 10 draft pick. That's what he should be producing. That's what he should be producing. Was it a good sign? Yes. Is he still young? Yes. But he's in his 4th year and he's a top 10 draft pick. He's had 21 touches. He's used the ball really nicely going inside forward 50. But against lesser opposition this week, he needs to go up even to another level. And I want to see him. I want to see Lockheed O'Brien this week, like he did last week, and demand the pill, demand the ball in his hands, which is something I reckon Matt Cottrell didn't do. So I want to see O'Brien be confident and want that ball in his hand because he knows he can use it as well as any other player in the team. So he needs to be proactive. I don't want to see him floating around the back. I want to see him demanding it and being confident. All right, so he had 21 last week. He needs to at least equal that or do better. All right, he can't afford to drop. He cannot. And the final player I want to talk about is Paddy Dow. And I suppose he's in a similar boat to Lockheed O'Brien. The only difference is he's put together a pretty bloody consistent last 8 weeks. But that's all it is. It's a consistent 8 weeks. And he's a top 3 draft pick. So I hear people going, oh, where's all the Paddy Dow haters now? You know, this is what he should be producing as a top 3 draft pick. This is what he should be producing, but he should now be producing more and ready to be giving us more. Giving us more. Or he's a blue chip investment. We need our midfielders, not just Sam Walsh, and we don't want to, I don't know, have everyone sort of like, we assess them all against Sam Walsh, because that's not fair. But we need more to go to the next level. And right here, right now, okay, he's played 56 games, Paddy Dow, okay, but he's yet to have over 24 possessions in a game. Now, frankly, I don't think that's going to cut it, all right? He has some wonderful attributes, and he doesn't necessarily need to, in every game, okay, have high possessions. But at the same time, we need to see that he's capable of hitting a 30. Of hitting him possibly once every now and then, hitting a 35 or consistently high 20s. We need it because that's what the best midfielders in the competition are doing. Okay? So, ideally, I want to get him 30 plus in this game, but we're going to go between 25 and 30, and that will be a career high for him. All right, for Paddy Dow. We know he starts off the games really well, so he's obviously really switched on to play well. So his last 8 games since he came back, okay, into the team, he's got off to flyers. I mean, he's had double-figure possessions in, I think, 2 games, and he's averaging 7.5 disposals in first quarters across those 8 games. But it falls away drastically, okay? In second terms, for example, it goes from 7.5 disposals, okay, it drops to 3.5. That's a big drop. We know what his weapons are, but he needs to remain in games. He needs to remain in games. And he's got the football under his belt now. And we often hear the thing, oh, put another preseason into him. Sure. But wouldn't we like to see that now? Wouldn't we like to see that now in the final 3 games when the stakes are high, when they're high? So at the end of the game, we know Walsh is going to have his 29 or 30, but wouldn't it be nice to look across? You got Walsh, 32, you got Cripps, 28, and you got Paddy Dow, 29 and a goal. Wouldn't it be nice to see that for a change rather than saying Walsh, 35, Cripps 31, okay, Paddy Dow 19, 20. All right, let's start to get a more even contribution through that midfield mix. So I'm going between 25 and 30 for Paddy Dow. So there's my benchmarks and targets for this game, guys. I want you, this is your task now. I want you to put yours in the comments below, okay? What margin is acceptable for you? Not predicting margins. What is acceptable for you to make you truly happy in this game? Assuming, okay, the Suns are on the nose, all right? And also, there's a lot of, a lot of these are offensive players. Like, they're forwards and midfielders. I haven't spoken about the defenders. I mean, I'd like to see, and I reckon Liam Stock has been down the last 2 weeks. He's been playing a role in defence, but he's been a little bit down. I'd like to see him given a little bit more responsibility further up the ground this weekend, but I don't think we're going to see it. All right? And frankly, I've got no idea what changes will be made this weekend. We know there's a possibility TDK won't play. I'm hearing Levi's ready to come back. Oh, my God. Gov's ready to come back. Betts is ready to come back. I don't care. I don't care who they bring in, to be perfectly honest, but these are the targets I want to see. And I want you to put your targets in the comments below, both team targets and maybe give us 5 player targets as well. And I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys again on possibly Sunday for a big review. And we'll have a look at those targets and see if they worked out or not. Catch you later.